Hey everybody, welcome to Massive Iron Live. What is going on, people? It is June 25th, 2021, and I appreciate you guys joining me. I'll be here as long as you can tolerate my big, hairy, ugly face. And if you have any questions or comments and you're new to the stream, please post them up. Do not be shy. I welcome all comments. I'm here every Friday at 11 Eastern. And so, yeah, come back, tune in. Just a housekeeping note. Sometimes I can't see your comments. This is a common thing on Massive Iron Live. So if I can't see your comments, sometimes they're too long. Try shortening your comments. If not, you can head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman, at Ben the Barman, at Ben the Barman, and slide into my DM. I answer just about every question. And as we speak, as I go live, somebody is texting me. Somebody's texting me. It's funny in my world where like my week kind of revolves around Massive Iron Live. And I've been doing it forever, Friday at 11 o'clock. And it amazes me how many people in my circle, followers and family members and friends don't know that. And when even clients that have been with me for a long time, they'll be messaging me right when live is starting, on my phone, like on texting or something. Like I'm on live every week. So let me know how you guys are doing, where you are tuning in from. Before I get rolling, had an interesting comment last week. Somebody was kind of angry because we have, where is it? We have the BHUD, and we have where's my other finger? We have the Super Living Today, and we have the Massive Iron. And it's hard to figure that stuff out. And they're like, what's up with all these different names, you weirdo? What's up with all these different names, you weirdo? Well, Big Hairy Ugly Dude, that's my nickname. BHUD, Big Hairy Ugly Dude, and that tells you who I am. I could put my proper English, surname up there if you'd like, Sir Stephen William Shaw. And Massive Iron is the channel, and Super Living Today is my website and my coaching brand, in case you guys are wondering. So post your questions up, guys. I'll be on as long as you guys have questions. If you don't have questions, I am just going to end the live video with a lot of shame and sadness and go off into my own little world and go back to my clients. I'm just checking right now to make sure we're actually live on Facebook. One of the interesting things about I cross-post these on Facebook, and I am now doing it on, what else am I doing it on? Twitch. Is that it? Yeah, Ben the Barman. And Facebook absolutely is useless. It just kind of censors everything. So I rarely get any questions on Facebook. And on Twitch, I don't know. I'm kind of new. They're like, who's the old guy that's not playing video games, right? Who's that old guy? All right, what do we got here? Stein, hello from Norway. Stein's always the first up on board. And Stein says, YouTube hasn't really notified anybody yet. We only have 13 people watching. YouTube can be super, super, super slow. So hopefully they'll get notifications soon. If not, I'm just going to talk to you guys or talk to myself and then delete the live video and pretend it never happened. Stein says, have you watched The Empty Man? No idea what The Empty Man is. Let me just Google it off the screen here in case it's really. The Empty Man on the trail of a missing girl and ex-cop. Rotten Tomatoes 63. Stein, it's a little bit low on Rotten Tomatoes for a TV show. I have not watched it, so I'd be willing to check it out. The Rotten Tomatoes, usually on a TV show, if it doesn't get 80, I'm a little bit nervous about watching it. Bree is here from Mongolia, and Bree has got me onto Black Summer, and we just watched the last episode of season 2 on Black Summer last night. In fact, we started a horror movie called Trespassers or something like that had a 60 plus rating on Rotten Tomatoes. We're like, we'll give it a shot. And 20 minutes in, it was El Stinko. So we went back to Black Summer. If any of you guys are watching that and enjoy it, let me know. YouTube is doing a wonderful job today. It's got 15 people notified. Thank you. That's amazing. Usually we're up to like 50 or 70 in no time, but I really don't know. YouTube is like, after 9 years of doing it, I can tell you this platform is so useless at times. Like, it'll notify me like tomorrow that I just went live. I'll get a desktop notification like tomorrow that I went live. Like, first off, I went live like 27 hours ago. And second off, I know I went live because it's me, so you don't have to notify me, YouTube. So anyway. Can Fazlips do Q&A with you one Friday? I've been enjoying his content. I will try to plan it out on a day where I have time. The issue right now is that I've expanded my client base. I want to do more client work, and that takes more hours in the day, which is okay. But the 3 hours on Friday, doing a live video for 3 hours on Friday is hefty. I did it for about a year. So we'll try to get Faz on. If you hear a strange sound, can you hear that? Can you guys hear that? That's my little wiener dog. It's crying because my wife is gone at the moment. What do we got here? Rob, does weekly volume matter more than weekly frequency? Frequency doesn't really matter. So let's just strike that from the equation. Frequency does not matter. It matters in the sense that it is a personal choice. And if you like working out 3 times a week rather than once, then yes, it matters to you. But modern science, the modern science of hypertrophy. Hey, Bubba, what's going on? Little wiener dog just showed up. His ears must have been ringing. And I'm getting a lick on my hand right now. Modern hypertrophy science, or the meta-analysis, has shown us that frequency doesn't matter. When volume is equal, that means weekly volume. If you're doing 12 sets for chest over the course of a week, it doesn't matter if you do it in 1, 2, or 3 workouts. It really doesn't matter. That's what modern hypertrophy is telling us. Modern hypertrophy, this is a meta-analysis, which is analyzing all the studies, not just cherry-picking one. And if you think I'm crazy, you might want to check the other hypertrophy experts out there, or guys that research this more for a living, because they agree with me. That's where I get a lot of my information from. So if you think I'm nuts, then you kind of got to check with them. And then all the major experts are nuts. So weekly frequency doesn't matter. What matters most is hard sets, quality sets. You set the table with a moderate amount of quality sets, meaning they have some sort of a progression indicator, a progression scheme. And from there, if you feel like you can add a little bit more volume over time, then absolutely do so. What do we got here? Stuart, the part 2 episode on training routines with Faz was a great watch. Listen, thank you. Anybody that didn't check that out, Faz and I did a 2-part series this week. It's about an hour and a half of viewing. We just speak off the cuff, but the first part is on my channel earlier this week, and the second part is on Faz's channel. And we basically go over upper, lower, full body, body part split, push, pull, legs. We go over all the routines, giving plus and pros and cons, and none of it's scripted. We're just kind of speaking from 8,000 years of experience. I actually had a client ask for something new this week, and not many things new come my way. And something I never really put together before. But somebody said, can you do a PPLA? And I'm like, that sounds, Peanut, stop licking your paw. My dog has a paw licking issue, and she'll literally lick her paw 23 hours a day, and it's like maddening in your ear. But PPLA is push, pull, legs, arms. So I had to think about that for a minute. I'm like, push, pull, legs, arms. Isn't that like a body part split, basically? But basically it's a 5-day body part split with chest and shoulders on one day. So the thing about it I don't like is that you have an arm day, but you have to cram shoulders and chest into one day. So, inside I'm like twitching and like this ain't right, but I'll find a way to make it work for the client. Anything's possible. So Dave says, how's the +1 book going? It's kind of in limbo right now, Dave. So many things going on in my world. I've actually behind the scenes been putting together spreadsheets of all my major workouts. I have 4 or 5 of them done. If I ever get any time, I'm going to be releasing them. So basically you can take the spreadsheet, plug in your numbers. It'll tell you what to do next time, what weight, etc. So really cool stuff. I have a really smart individual working on those, and those will be released soon. But so many things going on that the +1 book is slow going. Dennis, do you have any tips for recovery? Will dynamic static stretching help for soreness? It might help a little bit, but it's not going to help much. For recovery, I mean, number one, you need consistent sleep and consistent food. And those sound obvious, but in this day and age, it's Wild West. Everybody just does whatever the heck they want to do. They sleep when they want to sleep. They eat what they want to eat. Don't tell anybody what to do. It's 2021. But you got to take sleep seriously, and you got to take food seriously. Okay, those are your cornerstones. Beyond that, a little bit of active recovery doesn't hurt. I'd rather go for a walk for soreness or whatever than, for leg soreness than do any stretching. Will stretching help? I don't really think it'll help expedite anything. It might temporarily make things feel better. I don't know. I'm not big into stretching, but if you're having problems recovering, there's a difference between soreness and recovery. There's a place where if you work out hard and you kind of wake up on the third day and you feel like, I feel a little bit sluggish, I feel a little bit spent, then you need a little bit of recovery time because that's general fatigue or cumulative fatigue. But that's a little bit different from soreness. Soreness is kind of a natural thing with hypertrophy, and in my years, I've never really found anything that helps. You can foam roll and, do take hot baths and, watch the movie Twilight or whatever, does it for you. But I don't know. You just kind of got to play around and see if anything helps at all. All right. B4TP3N9UIN. Let's see. Bat Penguin. Your thoughts on pre-workout? General thoughts. There's a lot of crappy products and a few good products. So before you spend money, you better make sure you're getting a good product and not a crappy product. What is a crappy product? Well, first rule out any brand that isn't a major brand because you just don't know their reputation and you can't take them on face value. So you're better off not taking a pre-workout from a brand you don't trust. If it's a smaller brand, but that has a lot of quality reviews, great. Then you might take a risk on it. But I would stick with a mainstream company. I would stick with something that doesn't have a proprietary blend. I would stick with something that is proven, has a track record, and just make sure you watch your stimulants. Make sure the stimulants are okay for you. Not super overboard, turbocharged. Watch out for pre-workouts that have 258 ingredients because the more ingredients you have, the more expensive it gets. And sometimes people will stuff in ingredients just to, as window dressing, but they might actually not be the full, amount you would actually want out of the other ingredients. So stick with something reputable. Check out your reviews, a reputable company. Check out ingredients. Do some research on those ingredients at examine.com. At the end of the day, I kind of stick with the same couple of, pre-workouts when I use them. Doing 15 total sets per week, push, pull, legs, rest, repeat. Is this enough? It is enough if it feels like it's enough, and I'm not trying to be dismissive. 15 total sets per workout can be enough as long as you have some sort of a progression indicator for each exercise. What do I mean? Okay, let's say in those 15 total sets per workout, you're leading off with 3 sets on bench. Okay. 3 sets on bench. That's not a workout. That's a to-do list. Today, I'm going to do 3 sets on bench. What's your progression indicator? What's your goal? Are any of those sets pushed hard, or are you just kind of going in there and doing the same weight you did last time with no specific goal? You have to have some goal of improvement over last time. Let's say you're doing straight sets, and you did 185 for 10, 7, and 5 reps. So you had like 22 reps. You should be trying to push at least one of those sets for more reps. So as long as one set out of every exercise, in my opinion, is pushed for some form of progress, this is a reasonable progression approach, and this is a reasonable degree of hard training. The other sets can't be, pussy sets. They can't be, stopped 8,000 RIR. Everybody's obsessed with RIR, like 3 RIR. I don't even know what the fuck 3 RIR is. I've been training for 35 years. Don't have me guess where 3 reps before failure is. Forget that. That's the stupid shit we come up with. I just got notified. I just know when you start. Thank you, sir, for tuning in. Your notification of going live just came on my phone. I'm now 80% less productive at work. I hope I can be engaging enough to drive that down to 75%. So keep us updated on the percentage indicator. I'm more productive working at home. I really am. I simply get stuff done because I want to get off and end my days after 10 hours. So Josh, shout out from Massachusetts. Oh, I need this today, boys and girls. This is Purple Monster number 2. And in the on deck circle, we got Mr. Red. Trying to widen out my shoulders and make them bigger. Should I switch focus from heavy OHP more to lat? Hell no. Hell no. Lat raise has no progression over time. You might be able to add 10 pounds over time to your lat raise. You moving away from compound movements, hell no. That's the answer every time. Widen your shoulders. You need to be doing a dumbbell and a barbell overhead press variation, not for low rep sets. Okay, 6, 8, 10 rep sets, upwards of 12. I prefer overhead presses to be 6 to 8, upwards of 10. You need to get in 6 quality sets. You need to get them as strong as possible safely. And if you're in a commercial gym, follow that up with a machine shoulder press, an upright row, and then the coup de grace, the icing, the sprinkles on the icing on the cake would be the lat raise for some form of pump work at the end. Bill Monty, thanks for tuning in from DC. Is it cool to use progression in a way where your rep drop off isn't too dramatic? For example, if I lose more than 2 reps on the next set, I don't move up in weight on set 1 yet. Yeah, so basically what you're doing is you got a progression indicator and you don't know what to call it, and that's okay, because sometimes I just make up random stuff and it works mathematically, and that is 100% cool. But basically the way I understand Mr. BM here is running things is, let's say he's got 180 on the bench press, and first set is 10, and second set is 7, and third set is 5. So he's got a drop off of 3 reps and 2 reps. If he drops off right now, the first drop off is 3 reps. He's going to wait till the drop off on the second set is more, less, it's 2 reps or less before adding weight. That's absolutely reasonable because your second set is basically your progression indicator. So that's perfectly fine. Hello from Scotland. How's it going, Richard? Morgan Robert, thoughts on landmine movements like Meadows rows and landmine press? Not as a substitute for regular rows and press, no. The landmine overhead press is probably the least effective landmine movement. And when I say that, it's just not as as effective for shoulders as a landmine row is. That doesn't mean it's useless, but that is not a primary movement in my book. It is more of a second or third horse in the race. Meadows rows are a good movement. They can be a substitute for dumbbell rows, and many of my clients use them as a substitute for dumbbell rows. Not as a substitute for dumbbell rows. Many of my clients use them when they don't have dumbbells heavy enough for quality dumbbell rows, or as a complement to dumbbell rows. So you want a dumbbell or barbell row in the equation, but then adding in a meadow row is a good option. Trying to equate things like is a landmine row equal to a dumbbell row? The answer is always do both. You need some good exercise selection. There's no reason not to do a barbell or dumbbell row unless you don't have that equipment. But I would do both. That's always the good best answer. Any suggestions for improving pull-ups? Yes, I have a system over on my website, superlivingtoday.com. I actually pointed in the right direction. How to improve your pull-ups and push-ups. So the biggest mistake people make when trying to improve their pull-ups is they're impatient. If you start today and your pull-ups are 5-4-3, you do 3 sets and you're like 5-4-3 and 12 total reps, and you're like, pull-ups suck. I hate pull-ups. I'm never going to get better at pull-ups. And I tell you, Dave, just trying to improve by 1 rep per month. You're like, Steve, that's not good enough, Steve. Well, if you improve by 1 rep a month on 3 sets, over 3 years, you've added 36 reps, and now you're a pull-up stud, and you have the rest of your life to be a pull-up stud. Pull-ups can be a hard movement to improve on, and you really have to focus on celebrating every rep increase. Now, for improving pull-ups, some of us aren't very good at wide grip pull-ups with our palms away from our face, okay? One of the things you can try is a more neutral grip pull-up. If you have that at your gym, you don't have to go all the way 90 degrees perpendicular from the body, but a little bit of angle out could really help. So if you're able to do those, I would start there. When you're doing a pull-up, number one, you want to control the eccentric. Don't stop halfway down, jerk and jerk up and try to turn it into a speed movement. You don't want to do that at all. You want to let yourself down. You want to do them nice and controlled. And when you're pulling, you want to think about driving your elbows down. So anybody that wants to improve pull-ups, I have a system I use for pull-ups and push-ups. Is over my website, superlivingtoday.com. Just search pull-ups in the search button. It's a more of a block type of set to help you focus on trying to improve 1 rep at a time. And I believe the setup is for at least 2 times a week. Zaratara, advice for training during prolonged fasting. I'm not a believer in prolonged fasting because prolonged fasting is not a lifestyle change. It's not magic. It's not going to, and I know all the prolonged fasting people are going to have a heart attack, but from what we understand about science, and I know the prolonged fasting people only look at one end of the science. They don't look at the full body of science. But look, I'm not a fan of prolonged fasting. It's not a lifestyle change. It's not great for athletic performance. It's not great for life performance, and it feels like crap. I'm not a fan of it in any way, shape, or form. Not at all. So I don't want to go to war over this. I'm not trying to be confrontational, but that's something I don't deal with. I won't deal with it because I don't believe in it. It's not the best for us. It's not going to give you amazing health benefits that these people, preach. Working out gives you the same health benefits, and I don't need to fast to be, to be in good health. So look, the honest answer is you're going to feel like crap. Training with prolonged fasting, there's nothing I can tell you You can't do the same amount of weight. You can't do the same amount of work. You're going to put yourself in harm's way. You're going to encourage injuries. There's many things that need to go into the body, like electrolytes. There's many factors you need to consider when it comes to training. You're training with, glycogen depleted and all kinds of things. My best advice is don't do prolonged fasting. When is your next race? We don't really, I tried to get into Barkley. I haven't gotten in yet. I haven't got a notification, which it's unlikely I'll get in. I have a race scheduled for October in Western Canada, but as of right now, Canada doesn't look like they might even be open in a couple months for races. So I've been hesitant to add any races because of what has been going on. Everything I've entered in the last year has been canceled. I put in for a couple races in October. But even those are probably not going to go through. So we're just kind of wait until the aliens leave Earth and we can return to normal. You ever get tired of answering the same old questions? No. Doing this for a living is an honor. And one thing I learned a long time ago, I've been running, lifting forums and God knows what forever. Almost 15 years now, probably over 15 years. And I've literally, my old post count on muscleandbrawn.com was well over 50,000, probably close to 100,000. I've probably done 200,000 forum posts over the years. My comments on the Power Muscle block workout at Muscle and Strength have almost 4,000 comments. I've had them all. I've had probably over 500,000 comments in my life, and not that I responded to them all, but one thing I learned is that there are people in fitness who are like, go hit the search button. Go hit the search button. I've talked about this 72,000 times before. Go hit the search button. And I could literally say that on everything, to every question that from every individual on Instagram DM, or every question here, go hit the search button. But I would be a dick, okay? And I don't want to be a dick. I want to help people, and I want to connect with people. And, there's always new people coming to the game, right? There's always new people coming to the game. And by answering questions, I stay fresh. I stay on my game. I stay on top of things. It makes me think through things daily, and it makes me reprocess beliefs to see if I need to evolve them, etc. So there are some things I get sick of, like 1% of comments are just stupid shit. Like, I bet you're 5'6". Like, oh yeah, okay, you got me. I'm 5'10". But if you want to believe you're taller than me, if that makes you feel superior, just shit like that. That stuff gets old. People that, the only things that really get kind of tiring are people that don't respect your time. And I still try to I'm never short with them. But for example, I've had one guy over 5 years send me a question about a different program like every week for 5 years. And I've always remained patient with him, but the dude's not getting any progress, no matter how much I try to reach out to him. But that stuff gets a little bit old. People that don't respect your time and just, keep asking you the same question over and over again for 5 years. Short on time for training with your new member of the family is rest pause, suitable for long-term training, previously only used for straight sets. Is rest pause suitable for long-term training? Yes, but what I would say is you don't necessarily need to do everything rest pause. Let's say you're doing a chest day, for example, and this could have application for a chest day or for an upper lower or for a full body. You could do 2 hard sets on bench. You don't have to do 3. No one's going to put you in jail if you don't do 3. You could do 2 hard sets on bench and then do a bulldozer set on dumbbell bench or whatever. If you're in the gym, you could do machine chest press, and then you could do 2 hard sets on push-ups or dips or pec deck. So you can kind of alternate between 2 hard sets of an exercise, meaning at least one of them push for as many safe quality reps as possible, and then a bulldozer. Let's say you're doing barbell bench and dumbbell bench. Okay, you could do barbell bench, 2 hard sets, dumbbell bench, bulldozer. Next week you could do barbell, bulldozer, dumbbell bench, 2 hard sets. So I would kind of consider, can you do all bulldozer sets? Absolutely. It's mentally challenging. It can be incredibly challenging. And with a new member of the family, and you're going to be a little bit sleep deprived, it might not be a bad idea to mix things up a little bit. Really enjoyed the 2-part video with Faz. Master of Iron content is pure gold. I appreciate that. I sincerely do. To be able to do this stuff for a living is an honor. I might not look as pretty as some of the other guys out there. I might not be as mentally stable as some of the other guys out there, but I try to put out the best information I can to keep you guys on track. And, a lot of times when I rant on here, it's reminders for myself, reminders for myself. Like I'm shouting back to myself at age 18, don't do this, you idiot. Any plans on working with Alan or Greg? No, I really have no plans. I've basically, this has nothing to do with Alan. I've basically moved to a place in my life where I don't really have time for a lot of interaction with many other people other than my wife and my dogs and, so on and so forth. So I wouldn't rule it out. Greg, I'm just, Greg, I'm too small for, I'm glad Greg mentioned me. I have no issues doing a collab with anybody, if anybody wants a collab, but I don't have the time to seek them out. Let's put it that way. I'm thirsty. 30 minutes in, guys. Keep the questions coming. I'll stay on as long as you guys have questions. Alvich Vigans. Well, I'm 21 years old and doing legs, push, pull, rest. I start every leg day with squats and pull day with sumo deads. People say normally you shouldn't be able to recover. I feel fine. Well, most people that say things aren't actually training as hard as you are. So the thing to remember is the only thing that matters is how you feel. The only thing I will say is when you are training and something is going well, don't feel obligated to stay in that lane if a new variable enters, like you start to pick up lower back fatigue, then you might have to adjust. Then you might have to do legs. Let's wait. You're doing legs, push, pull. That's perfect because you have space in between squats and sumo. The only thing I would suggest, though, is if things start to get hairy, you might want to do a lighter deadlift variation every other pull workout just to save your lower back some strain and pain. Bill, you explained exactly how my last flat bench went with 185. Perfect. Bill was talking about basically doing 10-ish reps with the first set and then only progressing if the second set was within 2 reps of that, like 10-8. If you did 10-7, 10-6, that's absolutely fine, Bill. Over the years, when I did straight sets, meaning sets with the same weight, you'd always see like 11-7-5 or 10-8-5 or something. There's always would be a gap. But when you have those first 2 sets close to one another and the first set is a pretty decent amount of reps, and it's probably a good time to progress. Aaron, do you think body recomposition is possible for a natural intermediate lifter? It is possible, but you'd have to dedicate 5 years to that, and by then you could have been a lot closer to your natural potential. It's a waste. It's a huge waste of time. It's not a waste of time if you get to like 190 and want to stay at 190 and for health reasons, right? And you're satisfied with mass. But the whole idea of main gaining, staying at the same weight, I mean, it's an idea that really needs to die because it's really only effective for the beginner. And it's only possible for the beginner. And it's just really a silly game. It's founded in the belief that that a bulk has to be a fat bulk. All my clients, that are bulking, we're looking at a pound to a pound and a half a month. There's no fat gains. That's the real long gain. And if that, I'm not saying this scares you, Aaron, but if gaining a pound to a pound and a half a month over 4 to 6 months before a mini cut scares you, I don't have anything for you. I mean, I really don't. Most people overeat anyway enough to make that possible, but I'm not a fan at all. I'm not a fan of body recomposition staying at the same weight, if that's what you mean, staying at the same weight. Body recomposition is possible for a natural intermediate lifter if we're not talking about staying at the same weight, because what you need to do is spend 4 to 6 months, probably 4 months, in a lean bulk of a pound and a half max a month, and then do a mini cut over a month and lose some fat, a couple pounds of fat, and then continue the process. But the process has to be founded not on the scale. That's the issue with this. Not on the scale, but what you see in the mirror. From a scientific standpoint, if we're looking at muscle building, we have to consider scale weight, we have to consider lean body mass, and we have to consider pounds of fat. So just boiling things down to a scale is rather senseless or pointless, because you're trying to add pounds of mass, and your body fat percentage is going to drop even if you keep the fat level the same. So there's other variables here than just the scale. We have to be scientific about it. We have to measure our arm size, our leg size. We have to maybe do caliper readings just to kind of have a gauge of what's going on. So body recomposition is possible for a natural intermediate lifter. An intermediate lifter might have 6 to 10 pounds of mass to gain. We just want to do it slowly, have to gain weight, and then cut. Thoughts on microloading with dumbbells? This is a very good question. I was talking with a female client, and sometimes, and this isn't just for females, sometimes, like if you're doing lateral raises by 10 and you need to move up to 15s, that's a huge jump, right? That's a huge jump percentage-wise. Even for me, if I'm doing lateral raises at 25 and I need to move up to 30, that's a huge jump. So there are some exercises where it makes sense, a lot of sense. There are some magnets you can get to put on dumbbells, but microloading, I'm all for it. The thing I'm not really for microloading for is a big beefy dumbbell movements like dumbbell rows. If you're like at 60 and then you're going to go to 61 and then 62, that's just silliness. It really is, because you're going to prolong the journey forever. Been lifting on and off since 20, and I'm 40 now, but never progressively overloaded really until the last 6 months. Am I a beginner? From a beginner standpoint, I don't really like the labels. But what I like to look at is where are your lift totals and what's your muscle mass. Those are the things that tell me. Like if your arms are 16 inches and you're under 20% body fat, you're not a beginner. Okay. If you're benching, close to 225 for a max, you're not a beginner. A beginner is somebody that has relatively weak strength, and their arms are usually 13 to maybe 14 in a quarter. If that makes sense. Will there be any room for any more dedicated clients? I have 2 client slots open right now. Usually every week I get some fall away. Honestly, I had to, in the business of coaching, you have a very small percentage of people that disappear, and I'm not being critical of them, but you will give them a program, and the program will be harder than they're used to train, and then they just kind of float off and realize that's a little bit more than I expected. Or you'll have fat loss clients who will kind of float off and they're not ready for it yet. So at any given time, an online coach might have 5% of clients, or 1 out of every 20 who it has stopped communicating. And I still try to communicate with those clients, But if after a month and their next payment is coming up and I haven't heard from them, I will let them go, because I will not take their money if I am not helping them and I haven't heard from them in 30 days. So at any given time, I have 1, 2, or 3 client slots open just from followaways. So I do. If you guys are interested, head over to superlivingtoday.com, check out my coaching tab. It's only $80 a month. And I'm going to tell you, I'm with my clients every single day. You get out of it what you put into it. I'll do your workout. I'll monitor your nutrition. I'll monitor your weight. I monitor your exercise form. I monitor everything. And the more you present to me, the more you're going to get out of this. I have a lot of clients that get really good results, but they are super consistent. They give me their feedback. And then you have folks that, aren't great communicators or like the ones I just talked about. So yeah, I got room for clients. I'd love to help you guys. If you're super serious about lifting, it's what I do for a living. It's literally what I do for a living from sun up to sundown. I answer probably 400 or 500 client messages a day. I'm in office 7 days a week. I probably look at 100 form videos a day. That's how I stay on top of my game. I'm always looking at form. I'm always looking at programming. I'm always looking at the client's nutrition. I'm always looking at their weight. And, when they start to pull away a little bit, I'm giving them that accountability or trying to pull them back. So if you're interested, head over there. All workouts are custom, no cookie cutter bullshit. Advice on bringing my numbers up on OHP. I actually did a series about this on my channel, and I'm not going to just tell you to go search, but you want to make sure the number one, that your calorie intake is consistent, because presses are very reliant on a consistent calorie intake. If your calories are up and down, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Number two, I would basically have a barbell and a dumbbell variation with 6 to 10 reps, 6 sets a week. That's a good base. I would also have a lot of hefty tricep work in the mix. You want to hit your triceps hard with a myriad of exercises, and then I would work on general upper body strength. Get everything else in your upper body strong. That's the best you can do. Top of the morning to you. Thank you, sir. Let me get a drink before we get to Rico Santana. I'm thirsty this morning. Been running brute force 3-week Powerbuilding Cycle, HVI, for 2 months. It's such an underrated, great program. Thank you. And if you guys don't know what that is, head over to superlivingtoday.com. I have the brute force Powerbuilding Cycle. It is a 3-week cycle, and the PDF is only $9.99, I believe. I'm not trying to rape you guys, so to speak. But it is a heavy week, a volume week, and an intensity week. So you cycle between different forms of training, and it's a lot better than just your same old boring style of training. You might go the hard and heavy week, where you're more compounds and lower reps. Then you got your volume week, and then you got more of an intensity week. It's a fun way to train. And if you guys need a fresh break or something different to run the HVI. That's becoming one of my favorite programs, or client favorite programs. Does ashwagandha make the glizzy bigger? I'm not sure what a glizzy is, but I assure you scientifically. Let me just. Is it okay, kids, for me to Google glizzy? What's going to happen when I Google glizzy? An exclamation when your friends or family are teasing you to the point where you can't handle it anymore, and a hissy fit is in order. And then I get, why are hot dogs called glizzies? So I assume when you're asking if ashwagandha makes the glizzy bigger, you're asking if it makes your hot dog bigger. The one thing I do know that makes your hot dog bigger is losing fat, because you lose that little foopa-doopa-doopa, the fat upper penis area. For those of you that aren't afraid of P words, the fat upper penis area. If you lose that fat, you lose that gut fat, you lose that fupa fat, then you might gain a half inch back. Beyond that, you really need to see a plastic surgeon. Should I switch from lat pull down to pull-ups, even if my pull-ups are weak? No, you should do both. You really should. I think it's a good idea. Don't give up on pull-ups. I hate to see anybody give up on pull-ups. That's one of my biggest mistakes over the years. So I would do both, honestly. And you don't have to do them both over the course of a week. You can rotate 1 week, do pull-ups 1 week, lat pull-downs another, or something like that. Rock, hi from Poland. Is deadlift once a week and twice a week on consecutive weeks enough for building muscle? Is deadlift once a week and twice a week on consecutive weeks? Not really sure. I think I need some clarification here. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anything. Deadlift, you don't need to overwork the deadlift. What's really good for a strong back is getting in, 20 to 25 deadlift reps a week, and then backing that up with barbell rows, dumbbell rows, T-bar rows, seated cable rows, lat pull downs, pull-ups, machine rows, that sort of thing. You want a good variety of back exercises, and you don't want to be overly reliant on stuff that's just hammering your lower back. Do you use supersets or partial reps? I'm a big fan of finishers. With finishers, I mean, at the end of a workout, doing something like drop set or run the rack. But as far as supersets, a lot of my clients, I usually give them 1 or 2 supersets. One of my most common supersets is the dip and push-up superset, which I believe is really good for chest. The push-ups are really nice and controlled where you're focusing on feeling the chest. There's also supersets I give them at home, like goblet squats and pause jump squats. So there are cases where supersets make sense, but I don't use them as a replacement for big hitters. I use them where they make sense to kind of increase the intensity. Partial reps, it depends. I don't program a lot of partial reps other than maybe pin presses for clients that really want to bring up the bench. And maybe, partial reps on deadlifts off blocks or pins or things like that. Beyond that, it really depends on the exercise. I give a lot of my clients 21s, bicep curl 21s, which are basically partial reps. So it can depend. But as a blanket statement, it's really case by case dependent. Jordan Green says, "Where's Robert?" Robert disappeared off social media about 3 weeks ago, and just went poof. I was a little bit surprised. I'm not being critical. I was just being surprised. In my world, adding the supplement line takes extra work. I got to monitor emails. I had to design the label. I had to handle the logistics of getting the labels made. I have to handle the logistics of packing slips and customer orders. And, I'm not sure what's going on with Robert. Robert has his own thing going on. I was trying to build a brand. So, it is what it is. At the end of the day, I don't have time for 3 hours on Friday anymore. I just don't. I really don't. Anything more than an hour and a half is pushing it because I want to get back to client work. And that's not Robert's fault. Are your standards for a 1 rep max or not really sure what your or for a 5 rep max? I wouldn't split hairs over it. Like when I say a 315 bench, it's going to be about a 315 1 rep max or 275 or 5 or whatever. An overhead press, an overhead press, it's basically the same thing. Usually about 5s. How can I tell if I have a frozen shoulder? See a doctor. I saw the Titan deadlift blocks on your IG. Would those work for power shrugs? Let me pull these up. And I'm not trying to be short. I really am, but I'm not one of these YouTube guys that's going to be like, because I'm on YouTube, I know everything about everything. I know stuff about lifting. I know stuff about running. I don't know anything about. I'm no doctor. I'm no injury expert. And that, honestly, the best answer is you have to go see a doctor. So let me pull this up. I talk a lot about Titan Fitness here. Where are you? And I have no affiliation with them. I get no kickbacks. I don't make a dinero from a sale, none of that stuff. I like them because they ship fast and they're a really responsive company. For example, this week from Rogue, I ordered what did I order? I ordered a Captains of Crush grippers. I've never had them, always wanted them. I ordered every one, right? And it's going to take forever to get here. They still haven't shipped. I'm like, dude, it's been 5 days. Come on, ship the stuff, really. So Titan Fitness shipped immediately that day, and Rogue's like, we got to go on lunch break. We'll get around to it. You know, in this day and age, come on now. I work for a company, you know, Tiger Fitness and Muscle and Strength. Your order went out like that day, you know, or not early the next day. So I'm not a big fan of companies that's like, we'll get around to it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I like Titan Fitness because they're so let me, hold on. You guys have probably not seen this, so you want to see this, okay? You want to see this. This is one of the best investments you can have for your home gym. And in my opinion, it'd be nice if regular gyms had these as well. So these are deadlift pulling blocks, and you can adjust the height. They are, hold on, 25 pounds for both of them. You can put them on the end of your hex bar, and you can raise or lower. So basically, you can get a little bit of a rack pull action without beating up your bar. Okay. And you can pull from different heights. So these things are super sturdy. Here you can see they're height adjustable, and you can raise the height to pull from different heights. And it's pretty easy to set them back down. You think it would be an annoyance, but it's pretty easy. So I love these things. They're like the complete surprise of my home gym for 2020. I ordered them on a whim. I absolutely love these things. And you know, you can get under these and do a form of floor press as well. You just got to set that at the right height. You just got to be super careful when you set them down so you don't tip them. But you can get creative with these. You can do floor presses as well. You could set these up at the right height for maybe even possibly a Zercher. You know, if you're a little bit shorter. Almost a Zercher. I don't know. I'd have to check that out. But for $69, absolutely love these things. And would they work for power shrugs? Yeah. I mean, with power shrugs, you got to basically deadlift the weight off the rack, and then you got to dump your bar on the rack, which is not good for the bar. So these you can pull off the ground, and you can bring the height up so you don't have to do a full deadlift rep, and you don't have to slam it down. Are you a fan of squat shoes? Never used them. But one thing I will say about squatting is that a lot of shoes will push your toes in, and I don't think those are the best for squats. Some shoes aren't squat shoes, but they have heels. I don't think that's the best place to start. What I would like people to start with is something like a Chuck, where the toes can naturally go out where they need to go. You can kind of grip the floor with your foot, and you don't have the heel elevated. That's where I like most people to start. I'm 26 foot, 160, went down from 240. Well done. That's a big, big jump. I started a lean bulk, but can't figure out maintenance calories. Okay, here's what you do. I want you to weigh in on Monday and Friday. You can weigh in 3 times a week if you want, just not every day. You can do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. After you get up, urinate, step on the scale. Okay? I'm not sure what your calorie intake is, but you need to start tracking in MyFitnessPal. No excuses, none at all. This is part of the process. Precision creates precise results. You want to start with a certain calorie level, 2,400, 2,500, something a little bit that isn't going to get you fat, okay? But that's probably reasonable for you. If anything, it'll be maybe a little bit on the light side. And take a week, 2 weeks, watch the scale, and start to look for not the fluctuations, because you're going to get water fluctuation with each weigh-in, but you want to look for consistent change. And what you want to do is gain about a pound that first month. If it's any more aggressive than that, pull back by 100 calories and watch it for another 2 to 3 weeks. There really is maybe a 2 to 3 month dial-in period where you need to watch things closely. Have you heard about Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, Guys Fighting Dimension? No, I have not. I wonder how old he is. You know, in this day and age, you're just happy to see these guys make it. He's age 71. Make it to an age where they, are not dying young of a heart attack. So I have not heard of that. He looks kind of skinny and a little bit worn down. I can imagine when I tried the pro wrestling thing, and I wrestled in the RWA very briefly in 1999. That was a Ringside Wrestling Alliance, which is now defunct. You can check it out on the what's the website where the Wayback Machine. It was a feeder for the WWE. It was in Indiana, Illinois, basically Chicago, Indiana, and Wisconsin, southern Wisconsin. That's where we wrestled. And I had the Tri-State Heavyweight Championship. I'm going someplace with this. I was supposed to lose my belt to King Kong Bundy, if you can believe that. That's a true story. I actually worked in a factory at the time, and I put up posters saying, "Hey, come watch my match against King Kong Bundy," and everyone thought I was full of shit, and they thought I was a little bit, but that's a true story. But back in those days, like behind the scenes, there was it was hardcore. It was a lot of hardcore wrestling, people beating each other up with shit. And that was more of the focus. But, a lot of the guys didn't take care of themselves. There was a lot of cigarettes, a lot of booze, whatever. And I don't know much about wrestling behind the scenes, but I know back then that was probably more prevalent. All right, an hour in. Keep the questions coming, guys. How would you program barbell exercises and unilateral dumbbell exercises for the same movement pattern? Imbalances, look, you got to focus on what you can control, and that is getting everything strong. There's always going to be almost always going to be an imbalance between the left and right side. Your right, like my right side has been bigger than my left side for 35 years. You can't generally fix that. You can't. So focus on what you can control. That's getting everything stronger. I like to work in a unilateral exercise, but it's not something you need to obsess about. Like a lunge is a unilateral exercise. A single arm dumbbell row is a unilateral exercise. On bench, I've worked in single arm dumbbell benches, alternating dumbbell benches, alternating overhead presses. Those are some things you can do. Currently doing 1 to 2 hard sets of 5 to 10, then lowering the weight 10% for max safe reps for another 1 to 2 sets. That's a good protocol. I'm following this for all movements when I can get to 8 to 10 on the first set. Yeah, I like it a lot, okay? Because number one, you have structure. And number two, you start heavy and then you go lighter. So you have my complete thumbs up on that. All right, we did that one. Can you program effectively goals that may be competing with each other? If someone wants to get bigger and stronger, but also wants to improve running. Yeah, I do it all the time. I have probably 10 clients right now that are runners. A couple females, maybe 8 males. We just have to structure things and properly. We have to monitor calorie intake. That's very important. What I do with running is I set up a structure, and my structure for running, let me see if I can actually find mine here, but my structure for running is much more complicated than my structure is for lifting, because let's see, let me just try to find it. You guys hold on here a sec. I want to see if I can find my running plan. Let's see, I think this is it right here. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up just to give you an idea. Like when I have a client that does running, it's very complicated. You can see this is a 32-week peak, okay? And days of the week. Monday is YL, yoga and lifting. Tuesday, these time runs by hours, not by miles. So you can see reds are deloads. And over time, Tuesday stays about the same, a slight increase in time from 3/4 of an hour, excuse me, up to an hour and a half, and then we back off as we head for our peak. Wednesday is elliptical 30 minutes or elliptical plus lifting. Thursday is another run similar to Tuesday. Friday is yoga and lifting. Saturday is a longer run. Sunday, we start adding in recovery runs. As we get towards the peak, you can see we are running a lot. We start to add these T's, which are tempo runs, which will help with our speed. You can see we start with a 20-minute run, then a 4x3 tempo run. So very elaborate programming. But everything is works synergistically with your lifting. So I can help you do whatever you want to do. A lot of what I picked up was from my running coach, who is one of the top 10 runners in the world. I really dove into the world of running programming. I am no super expert, but I'm very proficient at this point enough to understand how to program for running and lifting at the same time. Do you have any tips for standing one-arm dumbbell press? I have been holding on the power rack with non-working arm for support. I don't know, Richard. I've always just done them without support. I think there's more value in that, learning to build strength, with that instability. So that's my vote, honestly. That's my vote 100%. Now, Joey says, I know this is off topic, but I completely welcome off-topic questions, completely. Can you tell me the place where you buy your equipment from? Sure. I buy most of my equipment from Titan Fitness, and I challenge you guys, again, I don't have any affiliation with them. I challenge you guys to go over to titan.fitness and check out their stuff. Specialty machines, lower body. I'm looking at this, where's this bad boy right here? I'm looking at adding this leverage squat machine. Their stuff is quality. They ship fast. I love their stuff, right? They got this rickshaw, farmer's walk, just good quality equipment for the home gym. A lot of good stuff here. I got this sissy squat machine. I think probably 10 to 20 of my clients got it as well. Just a great piece of equipment. They got a lot of good stuff. The racks, I think I got one of their racks. I got the T2, and mine's right back there. It's got the dip attachments, landmine attachment, all kinds of stuff. So I love these guys because they ship quick. And if they go out of stock, they usually get back in stock very, very quickly. They got a lot of fun stuff for strongman as well. Over here, steel clubs and multi-grip log bars and all kinds of fun stuff. So, and they even got your circus dumbbells. I love Titan Fitness. So that's my go-to. Hello from Australia, Kent. Kent is a client of mine. I appreciate Kent working with me. It's got to be late into the night there. Night shifts are finally on your time. Stay safe, Kent, and have a good weekend. Let me know how things are going. I appreciate you allowing me to work with you. Stuart, should you always do the exercises in the same order? Well, you can't randomly do them, and I'm not being critical here. You can't randomly do them. Like some of my clients, when they come to me, they'll see the list of exercises, and then they'll start off with curls and then move on to like rows. The structure I give people is generally the structure you should follow. You want to do the hard and heavy first and then kind of progress on. If you want to rotate the exercises, you have to have a plan. Like you could start with bench and then do incline dumbbell bench. But if you next week, you could start with incline dumbbell bench and then do bench. But you have to understand the secondary exercise you're probably not going to be as strong at, so it might need to be a little bit lower intensity. So you might have to adjust each week. Could you use your better pull-ups program? Oh, yeah, absolutely. You can do the pull-ups at the end of the back work on any of the upper days. How common is a 200-pound overhead press and a 200-pound, and is a 200-pound overhead press more impressive than the 300-pound bench? Well, usually I use about a 70% ratio, and that is a general thing, not a rule. So when I'm looking at 300 bench, it would be about a 210-pound overhead press. How common is it? How many clients do I have with a 300-pound bench? How many clients do I have with a 200-pound overhead press? I will tell you they're about the same. They are about the same because the guys that are generally, if they're crushing overhead press, they have a big bench. And if they're willing to crush a big bench, then they probably have the tools to crush a good overhead press. Probably maybe 10% of them don't have a similar overhead press. So it's a 200-pound overhead press is pretty not common. 185 by 5, don't see it every day. You just don't. When I walk into a gym and I see somebody benching 315, I'm like, that dude paid his dues. I respect that. When I walk into a gym and see somebody doing 185 for 5 on overhead press, I say, that dude not only paid his dues, but that dude is attacking all the body parts, and he has the next level of respect. So, Danielle, do you agree with not taking advice, criticism in the gym from anyone not around the same? I don't take criticism from anybody. Look, the criticism and advice you get in the gym is 99% of the time shit. It's absolute shit. It's based on random shit or some shit that guy is doing that he wants to believe is the magic secret. There's a processing system I have for advice in the gym. It's input through this here, pass with zero resistance right through here and out this here. Zero resistance. Don't even process it. It's whatever, dude. Don't process it. The amount of crap people tell my clients. What are you doing, Bubba? My little Bubba sausage is here. You want to come up and say hi? Come here, buddy pal. Buddy pal, are you lonely, buddy pal? What you doing, buddy pal? This is Buddy Pal. I call him Buddy Pal. This is Bubba Sausage. And he follows my wife everywhere, but my wife was gone doing some errands today, and Buddy Pal's super lonely, and Buddy Pal just wanted to come get some love from Dad. You can see he's a commando. He is a super soldier. Can you say hi, Buddy Pal? Do you see yourself on there? Okay. I think we got the snuggle down. Thanks, Buddy Pal. And Peanut, I'm going to put you down now. Peanut's right over there on the floor. So yeah, Danielle, it's hard, especially when these people are somebody you have to see every day. But the best thing to tell them is come follow my channel, become part of the Massive Iron Nation. I'm moving out and can't train for about 1 or 2 weeks. Can I maintain muscle strength by doing a ton of push-ups and other bodyweight stuff? It's good to do that. I get clients that go on vacation, and some of them don't have any access to gyms. So I will tell them to push-ups, chairs between dips, pause, jump squats, lunges, pull-ups, or door rows. Search door rows if you can. Those sorts of things. That's a good start. Do it daily. Being away from the gym for a week isn't any big deal, but when you come back to the gym, just be a little cautious. Maybe use a slightly lighter weight. Opinion on pre-workout. I gave an opinion earlier. That's like, and I'm not being disrespectful. That's like saying, what's your opinion on women? What topic, what kind, what age, what flavor, if I think it's good to have a pre-workout in your gym bag. I rarely ever full scoop it. If I need some, sometimes I'll half scoop it, just for a little bit of a push. And you got to stick with a reputable brand. Hello from Greece. Discovered the channel a few days ago. Thank you for joining me. I actually have quite a few clients in Greece and Italy. I'm planning on switching from nights to 5 a.m. due to insomnia after lifting. Will it help? I'm planning on switching from nights to 5 a.m. due to insomnia. Lifting at 5 a.m. I'm not sure what you mean, Steve. Will it help with what? Will it help with insomnia? Due to insomnia. So you're lifting at night and can't sleep, I'm assuming. So it should help. The thing I find is I'm super hungry when I lift in the morning. Amski, Buddy Pal's coming back here. Done, thumbs up to you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Keep the questions coming, guys. We're an hour and 11 minutes in. Is it better to bulk and long cut, or bulk and have several mini cuts in between? If you are somebody that during the beginner stages, like the first 18 months, you should be on that lean bulk train. Get the most out of your training. Training isn't super intense on the body. Just dig in for 18 months and build mass. Just build mass. After that, it's probably best to do 4 months bulk, 1 month mini cut, where you pack on 4 to 6 pounds and knock off the fat. Pack on 4 to 6 pounds, knock off the fat. And those mini cuts you can use as resets, where you don't do any super intense working out. You're not pushing for progression. You're kind of desensitizing the body a little bit. Sorry, I got a dog hair in my mouth from Buddy Pal. So this gentleman asked about bulking. I would eat 2,300 calories a day. Take your weight Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And see what happens after 2-3 weeks. If there's no change, add probably about 100 calories. Watch it for another 1 to 2 weeks. Have you ever done Smith machine squats? I've done everything over the years. I mean, in my day, I've had to go train and film with just about everybody. And there's been some bodybuilders that did Smith squats. There's a way you can make Smith squats good, not as a replacement for squats, but there's a way you can really make them quad-centric. So, yes, you can do them. Excuse me, I got a little bit of allergies. You can do them. Do I recommend them? Most people aren't going to do them right. So if you learn how to do them right, they can be a good leg exercise. Let's put it that way. Marshall D, do you own guns? Yes, I own a rifle, a bow, and a handgun. I'm looking at getting a shotgun. Me and the wife are going to maybe do some small game hunting for fun if we can find some time. So, yes. I'm in a downtown area. I own a downtown property. And last year when all the chaos was hitting and you were seeing downtown riots and people like, we're going to the suburbs and all that kind of stuff, I'm like, good time to have some guns. Next week, I'll increase weight on bench. Do you think I might get 100 by 5 at the end? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. 90, and then you go up to 95, and then you go up to 100. That's closer than you think. It really, really is. It's much closer than you think. Maybe a few repetitions, maybe 3 or 4. How long should a complete novice train with the empty barbell? 0 days. 0 days. Honestly, you want to get a feel for the bench, but on the bench press, if I don't know, I'm assuming you're a male, not a female. But on a squat, an empty barbell isn't going to do anything for you. It doesn't push back. It's hard to stick to form. You're better off practicing form with a goblet squat or a bodyweight squat. On a deadlift, an empty barbell is useless. It really is. So you might need to start a little bit lighter just to get the feel for a deadlift, but you don't want to be pulling lower than what you normally would. But there's no value in sticking to an empty barbell. I've been feeling sluggish and a little more sore than usual for 2 days in a row now. Should I deload even if I'm in the middle of a mesocycle? I don't know what kind of program you're running that has mesocycles, but I'll say that is probably a little bit of overthinking. You don't need to run mesocycles and microcycles and supercycles and all this complicated stuff. And I don't know what your program is, so it might make sense. But if I train more than 2 days in a row, I need time off. The ultimate thing you can do is listen to your body and keep your deloads or times off intuitive. If you feel you need a rest day or an extra rest day, then you should be taking an extra rest day. Absolutely. I bought the Olympic dumbbell handles from Titan. I feel sketchy holding them vertically when getting them into position. Do you recommend any particular collars you feel safe with substantial weight? Good question. The Olympic dumbbell handles from Titan, I would use the clips. What are they called? Let's see if Titan has them. There's a couple different collars you can use here. See what Titan has. There are these bad boys right here. Those are magnetic as well, I believe. Those are pretty reasonable. Or you can just get the plastic, what do they call them? Plastic dumbbell collars. Hold on, folks. I don't know what's going to show up here. These bad boys right here. Those are super cheap, and I have a couple pair in my gym. Those are the things I trust the most. All right, what do we got? Workouts are taking 2.5 hours. Is that too long? Yes. 16, 18 quality sets should not be taking you more than an hour and a half max. I don't know what is going on. I'm not being critical, but that's way, 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 way too long. Way too long. Something's going on. I don't know if you're doing an excessive amount of warm-up work or, whatever, but that's way, 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 way too long. Opinions on Gorilla Mode. I believe that's a stimulant pre-workout. I believe that's a pre-workout. That's beyond me. So I don't follow that world. I'm very sorry. Full body routine work. Wouldn't 3 sets of bench and overhead press and 6 sets of back per workout be too much? You don't want to do the same exercises over and over and over again. So I'm not sure if you're trying to do all those in all 3 workouts or just in one workout and then doing other stuff. Wouldn't 3 sets of bench and overhead and 6 sets of back per workout be too much? That's a lot of back work. That'd be 18 hard sets a day. The way I structure things, I generally don't do bench and all that barbell work in one workout. I might do bench one day, dips, push-ups the middle day, and dumbbell bench the third day. I usually do a bench and a dumbbell overhead press on the same day, so that's not too much. And we got some love for Bubba and Buddy Pal. How do you get the most out of a deadlift set without ending up doing partials? No. If you're doing partials, you're going to kill yourself. Like if you're like, you got to stop a deadlift set like 2 to 3 reps before death, before even getting close to failure. like some deadlifts are a very intense exercise. To get the most out of them, you just are sane and get stronger over a long period of time. That's it. You don't go anywhere near failure. You just get stronger over time. You don't push that close to failure. You're done when form starts to break down. Sebastian, if there's one thing I've taught 1,000 times on this channel, and you need to go to the shame corner because you don't remember this, is you push a set for as many quality reps as possible. Quality. Stopping that set when you feel like you might fail on the next rep or when your form breaks down. So if you're doing a deadlift rep and things start to go south, you're done. You're done. And there's no sense in pushing it for that extra rep. All you're going to do is jack up your back. How many energy drinks do you have a day? 3 or 4. Am I dead? Am I legally dead? I don't know how much caffeine they have. Am I legally dead, folks? I'm old. I got to keep myself going. C'est que possible parler French? Do I speak French possibly? I understand a little bit of the Romance languages, and I can't really copy that. So no, I understand a little bit of the essence of Romance languages. So I can I know a little bit more Spanish and French. I wouldn't be able to speak it. Do you have any Remington James cookbooks, or do you use any of his recipes? You know what I would recommend? I'm going to show you something real quick. Okay. I'm going to show you something real quick. If you go over to my website, which is right here, superlivingtheday.com, and you go to my store, and you go to books or ebooks, and you go here. This is a spiral bound cookbook from the Big Hairy Ugly Dude. I don't use anything from Remington James. I use everything from the Big Hairy Ugly Dude. How many pounds on bench should an intermediate expect to lose after cutting 15 pounds? It really depends. 15 pounds is not a lot of weight, so it wouldn't be much at all. Wouldn't be much at all. Let's see. Hold on 1 second. I'm checking something. The next question. Checking something for the next question. Let's see if it works. Could you speak French, please? I love lifting heavy ass weights, and this is what it says here. I don't speak French. It says Jaime Salaver de Poi something Ludi Curly Doody Curly Whirly. That's about as French as you get. You heard me speak French on this channel. Any updates on massive multi and massive D3K2? No. As of right now, no. With Robert doing the old disappearing act, the whole line is up in the air. I mean, I can't do it by myself, so at this point, I'm trying to figure out what to do. Do you have to squat for leg size? No. You also don't need to have sex with a partner to enjoy it, but it's better with a partner. Do I have to squat for legs? It's good to squat. Not everyone is cut out for the squat. It's good to have a wide variety of exercises. Squat, hacks, leg press, leg extensions, lunges. Do you have to squat? No. But if you don't, your leg presses and hacks better be super intense. All right. Keep the questions coming, guys. I got about 4 left. I'll hop off if I run out of questions, but this is going to be your last call, so get them in now. Excuse me. How much should you help out, motivate beginner lifter friends before you give up on them? Number 1, you never give up on anybody in life, okay? But that doesn't mean you have to save them. It's always good to believe in them, but you need to spend time taking care of yourself. So a lot of people are going to give up on themselves in life. It's good to encourage them, but not to the point where you're an asshole. So I have someone that's very close to me, a relative that has never exercised, ever, ever, ever. Never, never, never. This person never leaves the couch. And I'm not being critical, I'm not being harsh. They've never exercised and they're age 50 and they're in rotten shape, just rotten health. Do I give up on this person? No. Is it my job to save them? No, it really is. Will doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu 3 times a week make it impossible? Oh, hell no, no. I got a lot of clients that do Jiu-Jitsu. I like to mention string lifts to see if you get worked up. Strong lifts, strong lifts. I'm actually going to put out a program called Massive Lifts. It's basically going to take all the weaknesses of strong lifts and turn it into a good program. Strong lifts, anybody that watches my channel knows, I'll say this, it's the worst program out there. It's the absolute shit pile of all shit piles. And if you think I'm lying, go ask Paul Carter what he thinks of strong lifts, okay? I hate strong lifts. It's all barbell centric. It's not good for mass. It's not good for mass at all. A lot of people use it for mass. Simply everything about it is broken, and you're learning these technical lifts. You're going to have. It's going to take forever to get form down, right? On a program like that, and you're going to spin your wheels for 4, 6, 8 months and not going to get much muscle gains. Is my form off if I'm feeling dumbbell stiff leg deadlifts in my lower back? When you're doing an RDL, you want to move the weight by moving your hips back and lowering the weight along the front of your legs. You want to have your core braced, and you want to lower until you feel that point where your lower back wants to break, and then you pop your hips forward. So can you feel some lower back soreness or stiffness from RDLs or stiff leg deadlifts? Absolutely. Does that mean you're doing anything wrong? No. So I would have to check form. Beef. So Robert didn't say anything to you. I don't want to do a he said, she said, but dude, I'm just like everybody else. I woke up one day and realized Robert didn't have an Instagram anymore. So, I'm like, I'm doing everything for the supplement line, and then Robert doesn't have an Instagram. He just disappeared, like no words. So I'm not judging. I don't know what the dude's going through, right? Not my thing. All I know is I got to take care of myself. I got to take care of you guys because you guys are my priority. When should you start using a belt? When it comes to a belt, there's a couple things to understand. You need to learn form and bracing without a belt first. So when it comes to that, learn good form. Spend some time learning good form. Have somebody like me look at your form. Make sure it is, big, hairy, ugly dude approved. Once you understand good form and you can replicate it, and you're okay with bracing without a belt, then we can consider using a belt. But the thing about a belt is sometimes people think that it's all about how tight you can get it. You want to leave a little bit of space so you can push against it so you can brace. So you got to kind of be ready for a belt with good form and then understand the function of a belt. All right, guys, we got 3 questions left. If you want to get them in now, or I'll be hopping off in just a sec. I don't understand how people go 6 days a week training. I'm pretty tired after 4 intense days. I can only do 2 hard days in a row, and I need a break. When I was younger, I tried the 3 on, 1 off, and I ended up getting injured. So it is what it is. Some people are just better at recovery. I would say there are a lot of people that are training 6 days a week that aren't training as hard as they should. Front squats versus goblet squats, which do you think is better? If you want my honest opinion, when I program, I never program just goblet squats because, look, anyone that's not, anyone that's in good health can pretty much goblet squat more weight than you have in the gym. It's just like, take me to any gym, and like, oh my goodness, they have a 150-pound dumbbell. I can squat that. That's my warm-up squat, right? So I'm not generally a big fan of goblet squats unless they're supersetted with something. A lot of my at-home clients don't have options, so I'll superset a goblet squat. So in that sense, I would have to give the nod to front squats. Full body dumbbell shoulder press and landmine press rotated every other workout. Do I need lateral raises? It probably would be a good idea to have 3 exercises. When it comes to hypertrophy, and this isn't specific to a full body workout, when it comes to hypertrophy, you're better off having a few more exercises than a few less. So for that reason, I would say yes, it would be valuable adding in lateral raises. Are you going to keep making massive creatine? It's something I'm going to have to figure out. Robert and I were partners in a business, and if I'm going to do it, then I'm going to have to do it all by myself and find a way to work out a deal with Robert. So I really don't know at this point. How would you recommend rucking, running, and doing strength training without overloading yourself? Is this something you have given experience coaching with? I am experienced coaching just about anything. Rucking, what we have to do is really look at, first we have to establish priorities. Like, are you in a stage of your life where you want to be aggressive about muscle building? Or are you okay with a little bit slower muscle building so you can balance these out a little bit more? So we kind of have to look at the frequencies of what you're doing and then plan things out. What your goals are running, you might just want to run 2 miles a day, or you might want to run a 50K. So if so, we would have to structure your long runs on 1 day a week, like perhaps a Saturday, and then we would have to structure your workouts so you were maybe working out only on a Friday. We obviously can't do resistance training on a Saturday if you're going to be doing a long run. So absolutely, that would be no issue at all. I could help you with that. I already answered that. How to increase wrist mobility for front squats and cleans. This is a common problem. This is a very common problem for people trying to do front squats. And you can put the straps under them and hold it like this. I do my front squats like this because I don't have the wrist. I literally can't get like this. Ain't going down. Ain't happening. So my issue is a girth issue. The only thing I would say is you have to do the front squats like this, like the zombie. Excuse me. How to successfully recover from overtraining. If you feel, I suggest keeping things intuitive. What I mean is, if you feel like you need a day off, take a day off. If after that day off you feel like you need another day off, take that day off. From there, you really have to assess: am I doing too much junk volume? Like, you can do junk miles. You can do junk miles when you're training. You can do a lot of junk exercise, which is just overwork, which isn't needed for your goals. So it would probably be good to have somebody analyze your training program, make sure it's not junk, make sure everything is where it should be, and kind of analyze why you hit the stage where you feel overworked. How to order my exercises. I would say check out my book, Massive Iron, at superlivingtoday.com. But basically, you want to start out with a compound, and then you want to progress to lighter weights, lighter compounds, less intense compounds, machines, and then on to isolations. On bench, deadlift, and squat, would you increase weight by 2.5? Always the lightest weight. Always. Because the body is more than a system of muscles. You have connective tissue, you have joints, you have all kinds of things, central nervous system. You're not going to speed up progression by making the big jumps. If anything, you're going to increase risk of injury and stress on the body. And what do we got? Can I do side laterals with a supinated grip? Sometimes hurts when I use a normal grip. You can use a neutral grip as long as you drive the elbows up to move the weight. A neutral grip is going to kind of hit the front delts a little bit more. If you're using a normal grip, I probably would dump the exercise completely. Could rep progressions each set work like make it a goal to hit 10, 9, 8 and up to it? Absolutely. Absolutely. It can be anything you want it to be that's reasonable as long as it's reasonable. How to work on grip strength. I know I can't lift more, but my grip always slips. The thing you need to understand is you never let your grip impact your ability to build larger muscle groups. You need to get VersaGrip Pros. They are $60, but they will last you nearly a lifetime. You never let grip slow down your progress on any muscle group. If you want to train grip after that, there's grip training you can do. I don't think your problem is grip training. I think your problem is you're trying to do your back work and your grip strength is a limiter. So don't let it be the limiter. We're VersaGrips. After watching your video, I bought a set of VersaGrips. They have made a great difference. I can now feel the dumbbell row working my back instead of my grip giving out. Exactly. You spend most of your time on the dumbbell row fighting your grip rather than working your back. All right, guys, that's it. I'm off. We're an hour and a half in. I got to get back to my client stuff. If you want to be a client, head over here, sign up. I'd be glad to help you out. I'm pretty much full. I got 2 spaces left, but appreciate you guys watching. I'll be back on next Friday at 11 Eastern. If you have any questions or I missed your questions, head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman. Please follow me on Instagram at Ben the Barman, and we'll see you guys next week.